Good afternoon, everyone. We'll call a meeting to order, and we begin with our land acknowledgement statement. We acknowledge that the ground on which we live is the traditional territory of Caldwell First Nation, of the Three Fires Confederacy, and the original people of Point Pelee and Pelee Island and its surrounding lands and waters, and that of the Huron-Wendat and Wyandot peoples. We recognize and respect the First Nations who are stewards of the land and waters of Turtle Island and who have embraced this stewardship since time immemorial. We would also like to acknowledge the contributions of other nearby First Nation communities and all original people across Turtle Island. Okay, next is the adoption of our agenda for the May 26, 2026 Parks, Recreation, and Events Committee. Moved by Councilor Richo Spagnolo, support by Councilor Carrick. All in favor? And that carries. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest? We'll move to the adoption of our minutes of the Parks, Recreation, and Events Committee held March 10th, 2026. Any questions or comments? If not, moved by Councilor Burns, support by Councilor Segan. All in favor? And that carries as well. Items for consideration. Item 1, Life Saving Society of Ontario, the 2025 award standings, and that's our Director of Culture and Recreation, Ms. Finero.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Your Worship and members of Council. I'm pleased to share that LaSalle has once again been recognized by the Life Saving Society of Ontario for the strength of our aquatics programs. This year, we placed 6th in Ontario for overall life-saving program delivery among municipalities with a population between 10 and 50,000. To put that into context, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario identifies approximately 110 municipalities in the 10,000 to 50,000 population range, and LaSalle is ranked 6th among them. We also placed 9th in the province for leadership training on a per capita basis. Together, these results show that LaSalle is performing at a high level for a community of our size. In addition to that, the design of our pool is quite unique. While it offers features like a beach entry, shallow water, and a lazy river, which are very appealing and support a wide range of recreational use, those same features do also limit the amount of dedicated space available for teaching the skills required for aquatic and life-saving programs. I would like to recognize our Supervisor of Programming, Ms. Julie Turnbull, whose leadership and focus on program quality and accessibility have contributed significantly to these results this year. And that concludes my report. I'm available should you have any questions.
Thank you very much. Members of Council, Councilor Reno?
Just a congratulations to you and the team, especially knowing that our fill rates are so high and there's challenges that come with those types of crowds. To keep a high standard like that is very commendable. So thank you very much.
Councilor Carrick?
Yeah, something very similar. So congratulations. This isn't an easy feat. You guys are doing a great job to be ranked that high, and the dedication. So thank you for that.
Any other questions, comments? No. Yes, congratulations to the team. Obviously, this is a very impressive 6th place. I think, did you say 110? Is that what you said? That's a lot. So congratulations to you and the team, and continue the great work. If there's no other questions or comments, the recommendation is that the report of the Director of Culture and Recreation dated May 11th, 2026, CR-2026-13 regarding the Life Saving Society Ontario 2025 award standings be received. Moved by Councilor Reynolds, support by Councilor Segan. All in favor? And that carries. Item 2 is the Essex Power Youth and Community Fund for 2026. Back to our Director of Culture and Recreation.
Thank you, and good afternoon again, Your Worship and members of Council. The town is grateful to once again receive funding through the Essex Power Youth and Community Fund. This is a great example of how strong community partnerships help us to expand opportunities for our residents. This funding allows us to reduce or eliminate financial barriers and offer programs that are accessible to more families. This year, the funding will support a free Parks Power Hour program for children, free public swims throughout the summer at the outdoor pool, and our New Year's Eve fireworks event. These are all low-barrier, high-impact programs that encourage participation and community connection. Access to affordable recreation is critical, especially for families who may not otherwise be able to participate, and we thank Essex Power for their ongoing investment in youth and community programming. And I'm available should there be any questions.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Councilor Carrick?
Just to Your Worship, to you, Your Worship, can you bring that back to the board for us and Essex Power people and let them know thank you very much? Thank you.
Will do. Councilor Segan?
Thank you, with Your Worship, to our writer of this document here, I noticed a pathway to potential. Did they actually submit something as far as a financial contribution or support? What exactly was their part of this?
Thank you for the question, Councillor Segan. Yes, there is the swims at the outdoor pool, the cost to cover those could not be covered alone in the funding that we received from Essex Power. So we were able to use some funding from Pathway to Potential as well, and they contributed $5,000 to helping to put on those swims.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Recommendations at the report of the Director of Culture and Recreation dated May 11th, 2026, CR-2026-14 regarding Essex Power Youth and Community Fund 2026 be received. Moved by Deputy Mayor Capata and support by Councillor Burns. All in favor? That carries. Item 3 is the 2026 Winter Session Report of Joint Programs and Events between Culture and Recreation and Public Works. Our Manager of Culture and Recreation, Mr. Beeson.
Thank you, Worship. I'm just going to share my screen here as I have a presentation. There we go. So good afternoon, Your Worship, members of Council. Before the committee today is our quarterly report providing a high-level summary of activities for the winter 2026 session from January to March of this year. Joining me today are Julie Turnbull, our Supervisor of Programming, and Jordan Rayfuse, our Supervisor of Recreation, who will also help present as I go through the various slides. So Winter 26 was a strong session marked by our increased participation that we'll talk about, effective interdepartmental collaboration, and meaningful community benefits, particularly for our senior community. One of the highlights for Winter 2026 was the first season of our outdoor skating at the Loop at LaSalle Landing. The trail was very well used and weather conditions were excellent this year for our first season. We're not going to go into much further detail there as council will receive a separate report later on the skate trail, but did want to recognize it as it was a really important part of our winter 2026 story. Public Works, with regards to the skating trail, did an excellent job operating the trail in the first season, and we really appreciated the help that we received from a strategy engagement as well, getting the messaging out regarding the trail, and answering any questions from the public, and of course our culture and recreation staff helping wherever necessary. And we're really looking forward to winter 2027 and the next season of the trail as well. I'm going to turn over the presentation to Ms. Turnbull, who's going to speak on the highlights from our winter 2026 programming and membership services.
Thank you and good afternoon, Your Worship and members of Council. So overall, winter 2026 saw a significant increase in registered participants in town-led programming, with more than 1,900 additional registrations compared to the winter of 2025. That increase was driven entirely by the LaSalle Senior Active Living Program. As the committee can recall, we had not yet launched the Senior Active Living Program in the winter of 2025. So this was the full first winter session with that program. In aquatics, the total participants decreased slightly in the winter of 2026. The registrations for leadership programs, private lessons remained steady. However, the decline came mainly from our Learn to Swim program, and primarily the younger age groups, our parent and taught swimming lessons and our younger swimmers. We don't have a definitive explanation as to why that small decline may have existed, but we are wondering whether that could be from the softer economy, a very cold winter that may have driven those parents with young children to delay their swimming lessons to the spring, summer, or fall with better climates. Recreation programming saw a small increase with just under 100 additional registrations. When you combine those aquatics programs with the total program registrations for recreation programming, the total number of registrations were very similar to winter of 2025. The report also notes that we have surpassed 40,000 member visits in winter 2026, and that was slightly up for the same period last year. We continue to see strong member retention with our fitness center and group exercise classes use of the aquatic center, along with new memberships continuing to come each week. At this piece, we expect that we will exceed last year's annual total, which was more than 130,000 visits. And for context, our annual visits in 2023 were 94,000. The winter session, we launched an updated participant feedback survey that we sent to both the registered participants at the end of the session for our aquatics programs as well as our recreation program. The intention of these surveys were to obtain some qualitative feedback, some feedback for continuous improvement, track our progress, and how we can continue to deliver exceptional services to the residents. We're pleased with the results from the winter surveys. It showed that the satisfaction levels were consistent between 85 and 95%. We'll be continuing to use these surveys and compare the data season over season and take a look at the feedback on how we can continue to improve. Our program fill rates remained strong throughout the winter. Our master plan consultant, as well as Parks and Rec Ontario, generally consider that a fill rate of 75 to 80% would be strong. This winter, our aquatics fill rate was at 90%, and our recreation programming fill rate was at 81%. And for our LaSalle Senior Active Living, as mentioned earlier, the increase in registered participants for the winter came primarily from the Senior Active Living program. In winter 2026, we had nearly 2,000 registered participants, and we have concluded our full first year of the SALC program and exceeded our goal of over 5,000 participants in year one. As part of the SALC program, the province does require participants to fill out a standard set of questions in a survey, and the results coming back from the participants have been really positive, really exciting. So we had 95% of the respondents say that they are feeling more engaged in their community, 91% saying that the program has helped them feel more active, 92% reporting that they feel less isolated, and 94% saying that they feel more mentally stimulated because of the program. We've also received many excellent testimonials from the participants and as well from their adult children, explaining the positive impact that the program has had on the participant themselves or on their parent. The stories are very motivating. It's very exciting to see the impact that we've been able to have, and we're excited to continue to build on this and continue the outreach. And then I will turn the presentation over to Ms. Rayfuse.
Good afternoon, Your Worship and members of Council. Winter 2026 events has shown a steady growth compared to winter of 2025. During winter 2026, we supported 25 events over 36 event days, and that was an increase of 7 events and 10 event days over the same time period from last year. We're very pleased to see several returning events at the facility, as well as new events at the Event Center at LaSalle Landing and at the Vollmer Center. So the photos that you can see, go back. That's okay. The photos that you see on the slide are a great display of this. So you can see from photo 1 on the bottom there, that is the new Steamed Elevate Wellness Summit that took place in March. We also have the Polar Plunge, which returned for a second year. Of course, our Vipers games that take place throughout the hockey season, and an advertisement for the International Women's Day Expo, which was a brand new event to our facility. So we've worked really hard to create meaningful relationships with these third-party event organizers, which help us continue keeping them at our facilities to host events on an annual basis. So on this slide here, you can see a testimonial from one of our event organizers. So as part of the commitment to providing exceptional public service, we do send post-event surveys to all of our event organizers to gather feedback on their responses. So this testimonial on the slide is from an event organizer who's hosted 8 events at the event center. She'll be hosting 3 in 2026 alone, and she's already reserved for next year in 2027 as well, which is something that we see quite often with these organizers as their event dates pass. We continue to receive very positive feedback, and in this case, the organizer specifically noted the traffic measures that the town has implemented to improve experience for organizers and guests. We really appreciate receiving these forms as they allow us to continuously improve, and most of them do share great feedback pertaining to our staff that are on site supporting these events, which we like to share with them as well. One of our recurring events is the Skate Ontario Super Series that is hosted by Skate LaSalle. This provincial competition is exceptionally well run, and the organizers do an outstanding job. So we wanted to highlight this because of its provincial reach, and because the organizers reported that more than 1,700 athletes and spectators visited our community for this event. It was a valuable opportunity to showcase LaSalle and also to support the local businesses through increased visitation. It's important to note that the facilities team at the Vollmer Center does a great job working with these event organizers as well, even removing glass to accommodate a judging area for this event specifically, which is something that's pretty unique to our facility. We're also very fortunate to have hosted this year at the Vollmer Center another provincial championship this past winter. So St. Thomas of Villanova hosted the 2026 OFSA Boys Hockey Championships, while the girls event was also hosted in our region. The event was very well run, and the organizers reported that more than 800 athletes and spectators visited our community in March. Again, this was an excellent opportunity to showcase our facilities, to showcase our municipality, and to show some business within our local businesses in LaSalle. So we hope to continue to have these opportunities to host events like this in the future. And I will now turn it over back to Mr. Bison.
Thank you. So for the final slides, we wanted to share some information with the committee that we have not included in previous updates. Ms. Finero recently attended a leadership course through Parks and Recreation Ontario, where there's some interesting information that was shared about the importance of parks, culture, and recreation sectors across the province. Culture and recreation programs rely significantly on part-time, seasonal, and temporary staffing to deliver our services to the community. These roles provide accessible employment opportunities for residents at various life stages. So it could be high school students, we have post-secondary students, and we also have individuals who are kind of re-entering the workforce as well. Across Ontario, Parks and Recreation departments play a significant role in workforce development. And the information that Ms. Finero was able to bring back was that the sector employs more than 170,000 Ontarians and contributes nearly $8 billion annually to the provincial economy, and is one of the largest employers of young people in the province. Approximately 35% of Ontario's workforce is comprised of youth aged 15 to 24, with Parks and Recreation being a primary entry point for first-time employment, skill development, leadership training, and career exploration. This is something we know really well in our department. Recently, Ms. Turnbull reached out to several former employees to ask about their experiences, what they're doing now, and a little bit about their time working for the town and how that helped them in their current occupations. On the slide here, you can see 4 of our former employees who were able to share with us some thoughts and kindly a photo for this presentation. In the top left is Sahana Jaya Talaka, who recently worked as one of our lifeguards at the Vollmer and is now an electrical test engineer at Tesla in California. In the top right is Michaela Moscatello, also a former lifeguard who is now an elementary school teacher in our local area. In the bottom left is Dr. Jelsi Pizzuto, a former day camp staff who is a local teacher but also instructs at the University of Windsor and St. Clair College. And in the photo there, you see her presenting her PhD thesis. And in the bottom right is Cody Fields, a former lifeguard who is now a secondary school teacher here in LaSalle at Villanova. We also have a few other staff on our second slide. On the top left, Dr. Shelby Koschek, who is a dentist. In the bottom left and in the center are Dr. Steve Burnett and Dr. Julia Iftimi, both physicians with the Erie Shores Family Health Team. Steve was a day camp and park staff with the town, and Julia was a lifeguard. In the top right is Amanda Hawkins, a former day camp staff as well, who is now a lawyer for the Ontario Nurses Association. And in the bottom right is Rachel Matthew, a lifeguard and nurse with the Erie Shores healthcare team. This slide includes several comments shared with Ms. Turnbull across those responses. What we saw was a clear theme that emerged. Our former staff valued working for the town of LaSalle for its strong sense of community, the supportive team environment they got to work in, flexible scheduling to help them while they were going to school, meaningful opportunities to build skills, confidence, and foundations for their careers. We also wanted to highlight that these part-time opportunities support not only former staff in their current careers, but also career growth within the town. You may not know this, but half of our full-time culture and recreation team began as part-time staff with the town of LaSalle. And several former part-time employees now work full-time in other departments, including council services, fire, police, facilities, public works, and finance. In summary, the town's investment that they've made in parks, recreation, culture have done more than just drive strong participation in programming. They have supported thriving sports user groups, created the conditions for successful local and provincial events, and provided valuable employment opportunities that have helped residents build their careers. They have also inspired many of us, including myself, Ms. Finero, Ms. Turnbull, Ms. Rayfuse, Mr. Stitchaler, our supervisor of facilities, to make this work a profession. So we just want to thank you for your time, and we'd be happy to answer any questions from the committee.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Councillor Segan?
Wonderful report, by the way, and your department has a unique opportunity to showcase what's really good about LaSalle, and I particularly like the storytelling. That's one of my favorite things, to see what's happening with people that have gone through the ranks. So thanks for your work.
Councillor Ricci-Spagnuolo?
Thank you Thank you for the high-level report. It was excellent to hear all the fantastic feedback, and kudos to all of you for your efforts and all of your work that you do to make our recreation department what it is today. I've heard fantastic feedback when it comes to the seniors activities that you guys offer, so that's wonderful. It definitely offers a great quality of life for them, so that's wonderful that you do that. And also, I do have one question. When it comes to all of the out-of-town visitors that you had mentioned, like OFSA and everything, do we ever, or I don't know if this is a strategy engagement question or maybe just somebody who can answer it, do we ever go to local restaurants and establishments to create one of those cards to say, you know, if you go to this restaurant, this facility, you get 10% off if you say that you're here for OFSA or anything like that? I've been to so many like hockey tournaments in different out-of-town areas, and a lot of those establishments will do that just to highlight, the municipality will do that to highlight different establishments in the community. So I was just wondering if that was something that we have done, or if we're looking at doing, or if it's not even our area and it's up to the host of that event. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. That's not something that we've investigated at this point. It's something perhaps in the future, but nothing that we've looked at to date.
Councillor Burns?
Thank you. Thank you for the report. I'm pleased to tell you that my daughter worked in Parks and Rec for her whole university degree and teacher's college. So yes, it's the one thing that we do not accent enough. Even building the Vollmer, we didn't accent. The Vollmer is a place for youth employment and part-time employment for seniors that might just lost a job or something else to get them over the hump. I use the senior facility. It's very good. I do want to point out, though, that the bus tour to the island was sold out in 5 seconds, according to my bride. And I'm just wondering, what are the opportunities when something like that comes around? And I understand that we probably subsidize that to a certain degree to have a second bus, just as a future. I like numbers and facts. So when we look at this report, it doesn't portray, and I think I know the answer, that our bottom line or financial position has been improved by 1 point or 2 points or whatever. We know we're never going to make money there, but it would be important to notice that if we lost $1, this year we only lost 90 cents. Doesn't matter what the figures are, but if there could be something financial tied to this, I would certainly appreciate it because it's no secret. We're all being asked, taxes are too high, we spend like whatever. But to have some of those figures available on a website can be done in the future would be great for me. And I think you're doing a great job. And we didn't build a Volmer to make money, by the way. So thank you for the report. It's very detailed and I appreciate it. And those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Councillor Carrick?
Thank you, Your Worship. So, this recreational report's awesome. You guys did a great job, and the town's doing a great job. And not only that, but our services are amongst the very best that we deliver. So this just adds to what we promote and what we sell as a town to get people to come and live here. And again, as one of the people that was here when the Volmer first started and we perceived it, this is just a cherry on top. That it just keeps bringing people to our municipality and our community, along with all the services that we also provide. So thank you again and keep up the good work.
Okay. Congratulations to the team. I agree, these reports are extremely helpful, especially as we make our way to AMO again this summer, and we want to talk to them about possible, opportunities to support the town of LaSalle. And when you can present them with numbers and fill rates showing over 80%, hopefully they understand the need in our community and the need in the next 5-10 years to be able to grow. I think it's really impressive, this whole program. Having, I think you said 5,003 participants. I don't know if they're from LaSalle, Essex County, and it really doesn't matter. The fact is that we're reaching 5,000 seniors who are getting out there and they're meeting more people and they're mentally and physically becoming a little bit more healthier. And that's the whole point of the program. My question with that program is, was it one-time funding or was it renewable?
So thank you for the question. The grant funding is something we apply for annually. So we were successful in receiving funding for year 2, which started April 1st. So it runs April 1st to March 31st. So we were glad to see that. What we've heard in talking to our ministry consultant is if you meet all the obligations of the grant and you execute the program as you intend to, it is mostly annual funding that is in perpetuity, right? So we're really excited about that, to be able to keep delivering something and building upon it as we go. And we've also applied for some one-time funding through that same grant program. Now, we haven't heard on that. This year, the province's mandate or their target was to have more clinics in community facilities. So if we were able to get the one-time funding we applied for, we would be hosting some health clinics in our facilities throughout the year. But certainly that one-time funding targeting changes from year to year. So, potentially like something Councillor Burns mentioned about the bus trips selling out, that might be something in the future we could apply for one-time funding to support even more trips. So.
I think that's great. And I just wasn't sure about the funding, and that's good to hear because it's such a well-received program. If anything, I'm actually hearing from seniors they want more. I don't know what more you guys can do over there, but they love it. And I will tell you, they have complimented our staff over and over again, not just on the options that are now available to them, but the people who are running the programming, they really enjoy going. And I think that's really important. So congratulations to you guys. And it was a great report. So thank you very much. If there's no other questions or comments, the recommendation is that the report of the Manager of Culture and Recreation dated May 11th, 2026, CR-2026-12 regarding the 2026 winter session report of joint programs and events between Culture and Recreation and Public Works be received. Moved by Councillor Reno, support by Councillor Segan, all in favor, and that carries. Item 4 is the summer activities update. Our Supervisor of Programming and our Supervisor of Recreation will present the report. So whoever wants to take it on, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Your Worship, and good afternoon again, members of council. Before you is the summer activities and events update report. So each each meeting of the Parks and Recreation Events Committee, the Culture and Recreation Department brings forward a report to share upcoming events, dates, activities, etc. So the upcoming events and activities, registration dates, etc., are outlined in the report, and I'm available for any questions should there be any.
Councillor Carrick?
I just have one question out of curiosity. How quick did the summer camp sell out?
Great question. Thank you for the question. Depending on the age group, and the specific week, they do fill up very quickly. We, as each of you are aware, are open to LaSalle residents first and then open to all other residents thereafter. We do still have some spaces in some age groups on some weeks that are available. Primarily, the spaces that are left remaining are with the older age groups, the children that could potentially stay home alone, that 10 to 12-year-old age group, or on the weeks that are holiday weeks where they are slower to fill, where parents are contemplating vacations themselves or being off. So we do have many of our weeks filled already and filled very quickly.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Nothing? All right. Recommendations of the report of the supervisor of programming dated April 28th, 2026, CR-2026-10 regarding the 2026 summer activities update be received. Moved by Councillor Richo Spagnolo, support by Councillor Reno. All in favor? That carries. Any questions or statements by committee members? Councillor Burns?
I noticed down on the Front Road Park at the Event Center, we're taking out some cement, or we're doing something there on the entrance going in, or I'm just wondering, what are we doing there and why are we doing it? Right by the building.
Mr. Mara?
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. There is some drainage concerns at that location. You're talking about the location very close to where the garbage bins are, I believe. So there is some ponding of water there. So in order to solve and rectify that situation, they're putting in some drainage in that location.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Our next meeting is scheduled for August 25th, 2026 at 4:30 p.m. Since I know we do have a regular meeting still, but to the ones I won't see after this, good luck with Strawberry Festival, the first market of the season, and everything else in between. So thank you guys, and meeting adjourned.